Hello. Welcome to Tuesday Night Live with independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator Teresa Harper. I'm located in Oregon in the U.S. So glad you could join me tonight. So let's give everybody a minute or so to jump on here. And we'll see who we have. See if we can find it on me here. All right, there we go. And there. Hello, hello. Tonight, we are going to be making some boxes. And we'll be using the Tricks and Treats dies. And our focus tonight is to show you how to make the boxes in different sizes. So I have pre-done a lot of the decorative work because I want to leave plenty of time to show you how to alter the size of this box easily. Hello, Cynthia. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. I'm using my AirPods and I don't know for sure if they connected, so hello, Tracy. Just a quick thumbs up and I'll know if you can hear me. Thumbs up. Okay, good. I see a thumbs up. All right. So now I know you can hear me. Yay. Sometimes the AirPods work really great and sometimes they don't. I like to use them when I'm using die cutting because it just makes it easier. All right, so let's talk about a few things that we need to talk about. For those of you who don't know, October 1st through the 31st, there is a join special. You can get 35% off the starter kit, which is normally $99. Or you can choose to get 35% more product, which gives you roughly $165, $166 for the $99 on the starter kit. The starter kit at the 35% off is roughly $64. Don't quote me on that. It's pretty close though. All right, online exclusive. Be on the lookout for those. This is just a sneak peek of what will be coming in November. Demonstrators are allowed currently to order a few of this online exclusive pre-order items, and you can also add those to a starter kit. So World Card Making Day is on Saturday. For those of you who haven't registered, please do so. Hello, Lynette. Hello, Jennifer. Welcome. And then even if you can't watch on the World Card Making Day, if you pre-register, then you'll be able to go back and watch it for at least a week or two so that you could do it at a later date when it's convenient for you. But be sure to register so that you can get that. Just go to the Stampin' Up! Store at stampinup.com and follow the links there to register. It's easy, it's free, it doesn't cost you anything, and you'll be able to make those cards and watch that program. Okay? So that's all about that. And if you are already registered and you are participating on Saturday, I have forwarded the cards that they'll be making, the instructions to you. So we already have those. Okay? That is all the announcements that I have. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the Tricks and Treats dies can be purchased separately, or they can be purchased in a bundle with the stamp set. You save 10% between the cost of the both of them when you order in a bundle, but I think that this die right here is worth its weight in gold, and I'm going to show you how you can use this for all different occasions today. And we are, first of all, we're going to start with a Halloween card because that's the very next holiday that's coming. So let's go ahead and get started with that. And let's see, let's start with this one. Okay. So first of all, let me show you the size that that box makes. This is a full-sized box already put together. This is just two, you cut two of these dies and glue these tabs and glue the bottom, and you get this box just like this. Easy peasy, 3 inches by 4 inches, okay? But if you don't want a box that size, how do you alter it? Well, I'm going to show you. So let's grab some supplies here. And like I said, I've done most of the decorative part. So I've got a piece of the Them Bones Designer Series paper here, and I've cut this at 2 7/8 because the box makes 3 inches. I may cut this a little bit further when I decide what my size is. Our card box is going to be Cajun Craze. Now, this die, you need really bigger than a quarter sheet of cardstock for the width of this. But do you really need a 1/2 inch glue tab? No. So if you want to make it full size, I'm going to show you how to get that glue tab and still get your full size box and save yourself some paper. Just a tip, because if you're making a bunch of these, nobody wants to only get 2 of these because you need 2. So you would only be able to get about 3 of these pieces out of a full sheet of paper. And that's just not going to work very good for you. Okay, so let's go ahead. And I'm going to bring in my die cutting machine. And let's see, for this box, this is actually going to be quite a bit altered. This is the box that we're making, and it is only a 1/2 inch. Okay, so I've shortened it and I've made it thinner. So I'm going to show you how I do that. So for this one, you can go ahead and if you put your paper, this is quarter sheet of cardstock now, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Just put your die with this cutting tab here. This is the cutting tab. This is the side panel. So we're going to put the cutting tab flat against the surface of our desktop here. And then I'm going to grab a piece of Post-it tape, and I'm just going to put that in there. Okay. Now you can cut 2 at one time on this. Your scoring lines, however, will be faint, and I don't like that. So I'm going to go ahead and cut mine separately because that way I get nice deep impressions on my score lines. So I'm going to use plate 1, plate 2, plate 3, and then I'm going to put my paper in, and I'm going to place this at a little bit of an angle. Okay, and I'm making sure that I'm still lined up on the side there. Put that in my machine. And then I'm going to put another plate number 3 over the top. Okay, and then we're just going to crank this on through. Okay. I'm going to pull off my scrap. Lift up my Post-it tape. And I'm going to do that same thing once again, making sure that my side tab, glue tab, is even over here. Okay, I don't care that I've got excess over here because I don't need all that in the first place for this narrow box. Okay. So now we have our pieces, but this is still going to be too big. Hello, Laura. Glad you could join us. And hello to all of those of you who are watching on the replay. Glad to have you. Okay, so let's set this aside because we're going to be using it quite a bit more. All right, so now I'm going to take and bring in my trimmer because I want my side tab here, or my side panel, to be 1/2 inch. Okay, and I'm doing this so you can see. So I'm going to line this score line here up to the 1/2 inch mark on my trimmer. So that is this second line right here. This is the first line, that's a 1/4 inch. This is a 1/2 inch. And I'm going to line that right there. And I'm just going to give that a trim. Okay? Now, I'm going to do the same thing with my bottom tab. Okay? I'm going to take these and I'm going to line these on that second mark right here, my score line right on that second mark. And I'm going to give that a trim. And then I'm going to repeat that with this one. So again, I'm putting my score line on that second mark right there. Giving that a trim, and then I'm going to rotate it. And again, score line on the second trim. I'm making sure that I'm keeping everything flat at the top so that I'm getting some good straight cuts. All right. So there's that. I've got those all trimmed out. Now, for this particular box, I also took this piece right here, and I want this to come down, and I want it to be, let's see, about how tall do we want this to be when we're done? About 3 1/4 when we're done. So we're going to bring this in here, and I'm going to give this just a quick little measure here at 3 1/4. Okay, and I'm going to put that in there. I'll line that across. I'm going to bring back in that Post-it tape. And this time I am going to cut both pieces of my cardstock at the same time. I don't need score lines, so I'm just going to put this in. Make sure those are lined up well. I'm going to put this at an angle again. And I'm going to set that right down on top. And we'll run that through. Okay, that's going to do 2 things for me because I ran those together. 1, it cuts them both. 2, it cuts them both exactly the same so that when I put them together, the top on the front and the back will line up. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll pull that off. And we'll put this back on our magnet so we don't have a mishap there. Okay, so now we've got our tops done. And now we can start to put this together. Okay, so I'm going to fold on my score lines and burnish. Whoops. Make sure those are straight. I got a little crooked. Okay, now you'll know that this is your glue tab by the corner down here. This one is a straight corner and this one is angled. So this is your glue tab. And you want to make sure that that glue tab is not wider than the side of your box, which it should not be at a 1/2 inch. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll score these lines. And fold that up straight. Okay. Now to put this together, well, actually, before I do that, I'm going to cut my paper because it's easier to put my paper on before I assemble my box. Okay, and we need to cut the hole in the top. So we're going to do a little bit of assembly before we put this together. Okay, so I've got this at 2 7/8, and that's going to be a little wide for what I want. But my box now is about, I'm just going to measure this to the bottom of my zigzag there. It's about 3 1/4. So I want this to be about 3 by 2 3/4. So I'm going to cut the 3 inches. And then I'm going to cut this at 2 3/4. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead. I've already pre-done a few things. So we're going to take a piece of Very Vanilla, and I have cut this with the deckled circles, and it is the third one from the smallest, this one right here. And this is going to become our moon. But before I make it that, I'm going to grab some lemon lolly and a blending brush, and I'm just going to go around the outside edge of that moon just to give it a little bit of color around the outside edge. Okay. And then I'm going to add this flat to my just put a brand new refill in here. It's going to have a hard time getting going. So I'm going to put this here. And then from the Tricks and Treats, I've taken a piece of Very Vanilla, and we're going to use the Haunted House here. And I chose to use Night of Navy for this, because black sometimes doesn't come out really solid, but the Night of Navy will. Okay, so we've got that. Now we're going to use the coordinating die and cut that out. But through the magic of video, I've already done that for us. Okay. So then we're going to take, and I wanted to bring your attention to this. This Trick or Treat comes from throughout the year. This is a cling stamp set that has Easter, holidays, birthdays, every day. This can be used for St. Patty's Day. We've got New Year's and Halloween and Valentine's, and then a simple thank you. So don't miss that in the holiday mini. It works for everything. And then we're going to grab some Cajun Craze. And we're going to ink that up. Now, there is a Trick or Treat sentiment in this stamp set, but it was a little large for what I wanted. So we're going to use this one instead. And I wanted this to look kind of like a ransom note. So we're just going to trim this out by hand. In 3 separate words. Quick and easy. Okay. Everyone can do this. Okay, and here's our or. So let's go ahead and cut this out. I want to trim the length before I get to the sides, and it's easier for me to hold that way. All right. So now we have these pieces. And let's go ahead and add this. Oh, actually, I may not want to add that yet. Let's go ahead and add this to our box before we put this together. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on here. These pieces are identical, so it doesn't matter which side you use, what's front and what's back, whatever's your preference. Okay, so let's add some adhesive here. And then we'll just add this to the front of our box. Okay. And then we're going to grab a hole punch. Any hole punch you want to use is fine. Let's see what I've got here. Nope, that's too tiny. We're going to use this one. This is a little bit bigger than I want, but I'm not sure. Well, no, let's use this other one. I'm going to use the 1/8 inch. I actually used my crocodile, but it's buried away, so we're going to use this. Okay, and I'm going to, you know me, I'm a little bit picky. This is about 3 inches. It's a little bit narrower. I'm going to split that difference. And then I'm going to take my stylus tool and I'm just going to mark this about right there. And then I'm going to give that a punch. Okay, and then I'm going to line these two up. And again, I'm going to use my stylus. And then I'm going to punch this. And now my punches should be opposite each other where I need them. All right, let's go ahead and assemble this. Okay, we need a piece of tear and tape along the glue tab there. This is the back. So we're going to put another piece of tear and tape along the glue tab here, and I'm putting that right up to the score line. Okay. And then this is the front, so I'm going to turn that over, and on the inside lower edge, I'm going to run another piece of tear and tape. Okay. I'm going to give those a quick burnish so that they're nice and stuck to that cardstock. Usually if people have their tear and tape coming off, it's because they didn't burnish the tape. So we're just, anything that's extra, just give it a finger wipe and it'll go right up. And then we're going to just match these up. And if you'll notice, these top pieces are lining up perfectly because we cut them together. Okay, if you don't cut them together, they may not line up for you. Then we're going to remove the wax paper here. And then I can just fold this one over. And there we go. Our box is now together. So we do that. Now we can put our side pieces in. I like to take just a little tiny bit of liquid glue here after I take off my tear and tape backing paper here. Put just a tiny bit of glue on this tab just to give it a little added security. I'm going to fold my back over those tabs, bring my front up, and give that a burnish. Okay, got that. Now we're almost done here. We just need to take our dimensionals, add our haunted house on, like so. Take another dimensional, and make sure I've got trick, not treat first. And then I'm just going to put trick. I'm going to get a little, because this is so small, I'm just going to take a piece of adhesive sheet. Cut myself a little piece. Pop that on the back in the middle there. And I can add this at a different angle. And then get my treat. However I want to add that. Now, you could stop here and add your ribbon. Where did I put that ribbon? Oh, it's in that bucket. I thought I had it in. It just was, my fingers didn't grab it. So I'm going to take my ribbon, and what did I do with the ribbon scissors? Oh, there they are. They fell down. I'm going to put a point on there. I would put my treat in here. This will hold a Reese's peanut butter cup. Fun size. I forgot to grab one out of my stash. And then I'm just going to thread it through the back. And then I'm going to do a loop. I'm not tying a knot. I'm just going to do a loop, swoop, tuck, and pull. And then I don't end up with all that extra bulk. And I'll get a nicer finish on my bow here. Okay. So I've got that. And then cut that off. Okay, and then you could say that's done. But if you have some of the bats and ghosts that you can no longer get, some of you I know already have those, so this is for you who have them. I'm sorry if we ran out before you got any. I'm going to take one of the little glow-in-the-dark ghosts, and I'm just going to stick that right over here. And then I'm going to take two of these glow-in-the-dark bats, and I'm going to stick them on the moon. And really, you should probably do this before you tie your bow. That way you can reach your finger in there and give them a good press so they don't come off. Okay, and there's the first box, 1/2 inch. Fits a fun size candy bar. York, it'll fit a York peppermint patty or a Reese's peanut butter cup. Those are not too thick. Okay, so there's the first box. Let's clear this out just a bit. All right. And we'll move on to the next bit. Okay. Just get a few things out of the way. So that is not your standard box. So that gives you a little bit of use out of your die, a little bit of extra use. All right, so for our next one, we're going to do a quick little Christmas box. And this is it. Okay, I'll show you quickly how we do this. So let's move forward. And we'll grab that bin of supplies. Okay. Now this particular box is full size, but still I'm making it out of a 1/4 sheet of cardstock. Actually, it might not be full size. I think it might just be an inch. Okay. So let's go ahead and cut those. And let's see if this is full size or an inch. Did I get this? Yeah, this is an inch. The full size is an inch and an eighth, I believe. So this is almost a full size. So we're going to take our die, and this time what we're going to do is we're going to, instead of lining it up on the glue tab side, we're going to turn this over and look at it. And we're going to line this up right along that cutting edge to the inside of the cutting edge. So the cutting edge is here, and I'm just going to line that up on that cutting edge. Okay, that's going to give me a little bit over here for the glue tab still. And then I'm going to flip that over, hang on to it, and give that a good press with my Post-it tape. Okay. Then we're going to bring on our die cut machine. And we're going to run that through. And again, you could cut both of these at the same time. I just like the impression that I get when I do them individually. Okay, so I'm going to show you that one more time. Okay, take our cardstock, line it up with the cut edge right here on this side panel, and so that we're not clear over here. Okay, then we're going to take that, put it on here, and we're going to run that through again. And always put this die at a slight angle. That'll just make your die cutting go easier. It's easier on your machine, easier on your arm. Okay, so now we've got this, and we've got those two. Now, when you do that, they line up perfectly. So we are good. Now this box is a little bit shorter than a full-size box. So I've cut this box, I believe, at 3.5. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to put this in my trimmer. And this is a little bit tricky because you want to cut off the top and you can't put the bottom at 3.5 because if you do, then you don't have 3.5 here. So you have to line your bottom score line up at the 3.5-inch mark. Okay, if it isn't perfect, it doesn't matter. Just lay it down there as close as you can. Here's the 3.5-inch mark there. It's all flat, everything's lined up. I'll give that a cut. And now my box will be 3.5 inches tall. Okay, for this box then, I took a piece of scrap paper, okay, and I wanted to use the snowflake embossing folder from the Abundant Beauty Decorative Masks. And because I cut this at 3.5, if I want to get the sides, I can do that. If you only want to do the sides of your box or the front of your box, which is what I did on this box, I only stenciled the front. Okay, so if you want to do that, the way that I did that was I took this and I folded all of these in, all of my score lines in. Okay, and then I folded this all inside and did this. Okay, let's go ahead and do that for this one. And then I can just lay that down, put that on here, put my stencil on, and do that. Okay, so now let's get our brush and Balmy Blue ink. Actually, you know what? I'm changing my mind. I do want to do this. So that's how you would do it if you just want that. Now, if you want it all done, I didn't want the bottoms done, so I'm going to fold the bottom up on this one, but I'm going to leave these out, my sides out. And now I'm going to turn my, in order to do that, this is too narrow, so in order to make that work, I have to turn my Abundant Beauty mask in the landscape direction, okay? And then I can put it down and then it will get all of my box. Okay, so there we go. We're just going to give that a quick inking. And then we'll lift that up. And now we've got the front and the sides of our box. And then we'll repeat that over here. But I need to just fold these two in. And re-secure my mask here. And ink that as light or as dark as you wish. Okay. And now you've got your two pieces ready to go. All right. Okay, so now you know that we've cut this, and because of the way we cut it, this is no longer the full width. Now, normally you would think that you would need to cut the bottom, but with this particular die, when you look at the full-size box, the bottom pieces do not meet. In other words, it doesn't meet the edge of the box. So you have a gap here. And that gap is enough. This 7/8 of an inch, but your side width is larger. And actually with this one, I made this one the 1 1/8. Yep, this is the full width of the box. Okay, so that's how you get it on a quarter sheet of paper. And now all we need to do with this one then, oh, wait a minute, I need to show you how I close this one, and it's easiest to do if we do it before we put it together. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our closure. What did I do with the packet of pieces? Oh, you got to be right here. I had those all ready to go. Where did I put them? Oh man. Here it is. Right where it's supposed to be. Okay. So in order to put this one together, I have a little closure for this. So I've taken the Heartfelt Hexagon Punch right here. This is available right now in the online exclusives, but only until Saturday, and then it's going to go back into the vault until the mini catalog releases in January. This is for the World Card Making Day event. Stampin' Up! Brought that out for us. So I've cut 2 pieces out of Misty Moonlight. One of them I have embossed with the Snowflake Sky 3D embossing folder, and all I did was I took that piece, looked at where I wanted it to go, put it in there, ran it through my machine with plates 1 and 4, and now I have a piece for the front, but I need a piece for my closure. So I'm going to bring my scoreboard in. Okay. And I have drawn a line down mine at the 6-inch mark. So I'm just going to line up the points of my hexagon there at the 6-inch mark, making sure that I'm straight top and bottom. And then I'm going to go over to the 1/2 inch mark here, or the 6.5 inch mark, and I'm going to score. And then I'm also going to score at the 5.5 inch mark. Okay, then I'll have 1 inch between the two, and this becomes my closure. All right. And I need to decide which one I want to be the back of my box. I'm going to fold those down. Okay. Then I'm going to take some liquid glue. And I'm going to fold my sides in because it's easier for me to find the middle when I'm looking at only this piece. Okay. So I'm going to put glue on the inside of this piece right here. And I'm going to eyeball that and line that score line up with the top of my box. Okay. Then if you care, you can, yep, pretty close. Okay, so we're good. Give that a good press. Now my box is ready for its closure. Okay, next, before I go any further, because it's easiest now, I'm going to take a Velcro dot. These are the Velcro thin clear fasteners. I just got them in a 6-pack off of Amazon, but you can find them sometimes in your local Joann's store. Maybe Hobby Lobby, I don't know. I haven't looked there, but I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it right in the center of this tab right here. Okay. And then I'm going to give that a good press, just because it's easier to do it now than try to do it later when there's nothing. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and add our tear and tape. Now, because we cut this the way we did, our little glue tab is a lot shorter and it's narrower than our tear and tape strip. But the nice thing about tear and tape is you just fold it back on itself. Okay, so now this is the back of the box. This is the front of my box. So I'm going to put my tear and tape right there. All right. Now let's grab take your pick tool, remove our backing, and I'm just going to pick that up and roll it back on itself, just like that. Okay, then we'll add this piece, lining up the tops and the score lines there. Okay, give that a good press. And pick this backing off. Okay, and I should have put my, shoot. I needed to put my, I did that. I needed to put my holes in before I did that, but it's too late now, so we're just gonna, well, wait a minute. Let's put our tear and tape back on there and see if we can make this work. Boop. I don't know if I can or not, but I'm gonna try. I want these. There's just gonna be no way to line those up, but it will be easier to do it here than later. So this is 1 1/8 inch. So I'm going to go right here between, just going to pick this right here and line that up and right there. Okay, just mark that. I don't want this fat hole punch. That won't work for my ribbon. It's just much easier to do this, and if I had been thinking, I would have done it so that I would have laid them together and done it at the same time. Okay, so now we're good. We fixed it. We're ready for our ribbon. Now we can remove our tape, lay that down flat, make sure our tops are even, give that a good burnish, fold in my sides, remove my backing there, a little bit of liquid glue on the side tabs, fold in the back, fold in the front, burnish that down. Okay, now I need a clear block. If I stick a clear block, it's not quite thick enough, but it will help me. I'm going to take and take off that backing on the Velcro dot. I'm going to press this up against the back or the front, and then I'm going to bring this over the front, and that gives me a hard surface to press that against, just enough so that I can pull that out, use my bone folder, and give that a good press. Okay? And there we have that. So to finish this box off, we're going to take the balmy blue double stitched ribbon, and I need about 12 or about 10 inches. Maybe 9.5. And we'll bring this in. I want to cut it on a good angle. Okay. This is kind of thick. This ribbon is. All right. I'm going to take this and I'm going to thread it through. I'm going to open this up for now. I'm going to thread this in through the side. And I'm going to give that a pull. I got to try and get a hold of that blue ribbon too, because remember, this is stitched together. So try and get both of those pieces through at the same time. Oh, and of course, I did this earlier today with no issues. And now we're going to be stubborn. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to take this and bring it around and just tie a little knot here in the end of that. Okay. And that's pretty thick, so we don't have to worry about it going through that hole. Trim that off. Pull that up. And then I'm going to repeat on this side. And I'm trying to make sure that I don't twist my ribbon, because this ribbon is not double-sided. So I'm going to bring that in. Now you could give yourself a little more ribbon, which would make it easier for you to tie your knot. I'm okay with this length, so I've got that. Give that a quick trim, and then we'll pull that up like that. Okay, almost done with this box. I'm just going to take my snowflake, and I am going to actually add my tree to my snowflake first. I'm going to do this flat, and it's going to stick off, so I'm only going to do about 2/3 of my tree. With the glue. I'm going to add that on, and then before I forget, I'm going to put a little mini dimensional right up here and leave that backing on. Okay, I'm going to add my little fox here, and grab a couple of dimensionals for that. And then I'm going to put this down right about here. And then dimensionals on the back of this. I don't have to worry about how thick this is because I'm not mailing it. And then I can add this to my box. And I'll just open that up and put my hand in and give that a press. Now I took a little tiny bit of Wink of Stella And I ran it along my star and my bow on the gift, just to give it a little bit of shine. Okay. And finally, let's see, where did I put my pack of, okay, well, from there, I added Warm Wishes. I stamped that in Misty Moonlight on Very Vanilla, and then I hand cut it out, and I added the adhesive backed glitter sequins to finish that off. Okay, I've got one more to show you. That's why this is the finished project. Okay, I want to get moving so we have time for the last one, because we're right at the time to get done. All right, so we'll set that one aside. And the final project, I think I've done quite a bit of this. In fact, I've already cut these pieces here. So I cut these by taking the quarter sheet of cardstock. And what I did on this one was I lined this up so that I had about that much room there. Okay. I'm just right inside there. I'm just below the cut line on the left side. Okay. So how I did this actually to get that the way I did, I took a quarter sheet of cardstock. Let me grab one. See if I have one just laying here. And I'll show you how I lined that up. The easy way. Okay, so take a quarter sheet of cardstock. And when you put this on this edge, the same way I did to start with, if you just line that up right there, do you see how much you get right here that's open? That is this amount right here. Okay, so I just lined this up with the edge of my cardstock, and then I cut it with that glue tab. Just put it down on your table like that. Put your adhesive tape like I showed you in the first example, and then we cut that first one down a little bit further. But this is the size that you get when you cut it with that straight edge right there. Okay, so that's what I did, and then I ran this through the cut and emboss machine with the 3D embossing folders that are in the online exclusives. And when I did this, I did not want my glue tab to have the embossing. So I lined this up along the line at the bottom that Stampin' Up! Puts for us, slid it over to the edge so that the score line meets up with the pattern here, closed up my folder and ran it through the die cut machine with sandwiches 1 and 4. Okay, and I did that twice so that I got 2, because 1 doesn't do us any good. Now this one, again, I don't like the full tall size. I prefer it to be a little bit shorter. So I'm going to cut this one again. And I'm going to cut it at about the 3.5, right? I think that's what I want, 3.5. About 3, yep, about 3.5 is what I want. Okay, so I'm going to line this score line up right here on the bottom with the 3.5 inch mark, maybe 3.25. Yeah, let's go 3.25. I'm going to go down one more to 3.25. Okay, got those lined up together. Make sure it is lined up together. I don't want one taller than the other. And then I'm going to give that a cut. Okay. And then I'll have this box. And this one, again, I'm using that closure. So I'm going to cut a hexagon out of the designer series paper here. And I need 2 of these, right? Yep, I need 2 of these. So I'm going to cut 2. Okay. Now I've already pre-cut 2 black ones and 1 yellow one. And this is really what I want to show you, this part right here. Because I'm using designer series paper, this is not going to be strong enough for my closure. So I'm going to go ahead and glue my designer series paper to my crushed curry hexagon. And I'm just going to line that up. Give it a good press. Okay. For my second DSP, I want this to have a black background. So I'm going to take these 2 hexagons and I'm going to cut 1 in half lengthwise. And 1 in half vertically. Okay. Now I'm going to take a little bit of liquid glue on the longer piece here, like so. And then I'm going to bring this up like that and give it a press. And I'm going to repeat that with this one. Okay. And that gives me a shadow layer. Okay. Now by cutting these vertically, now I can add these on the end so it'll look like I still have a hexagon. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these like so. I'm going to add that so it's about the equal distance. Okay. And then we'll repeat this here. And now, even though my hexagon, my rounded corner hexagon doesn't have another punch that will allow me to do that, I've done it with the same punch and it looks really cool that way. Okay, so here we've got our flap. Okay, so for this one then, the sides on this are about 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so I'm going to get out my trimmer or my score tool again, and I'm going to stick that up there. And I'm going to take my scoring tool and I'm going to go 3/8 of an inch because 3/8 and 3/8 is 6/8, which is 3 3/4. Okay, so I'm going to score this, and I should have scored it before I put them together because it would have been easier Oh, wait a minute. I'm doing the wrong one. Whoops. Never mind. Wrong one. Don't do that one. Were you guys screaming at me? Okay, so we're going to put this, and then we're going to do 3/8. Okay, and then I'm going to go over 3/8 over here, and I'm going to score that. If I can get it to stay where I want it to stay. There we go. It's actually easier if you score your DSP and then add it to your cardstock. But I didn't do that, so then we'll just do that. Now we've got our back for this. This is ready to go. It doesn't matter which is which. Let's put, oh, before we do anything else, let's do it the way we're supposed to do it for our holes. Put your two pieces together. I'm not very good at this. I'm just going to eyeball this. Boop. About right here. Okay. And that looks like it's a little off. So we'll go a little that way. Okay, now I've got both of my holes where I need them. This is what I should have done on the last one. Okay, we'll get those scored. Ready to go. And all of these boxes assemble the same way. So once you get your sizes figured out on what you like, how deep you want them, whether you want them to be shallow or deep, then once you get them cut, you just assemble them all the same. Okay, so again, we're going to add our tear and tape. I'm going to make this the front of my box. That'll make this the back of my box. Okay, and if this is the back of my box, then this is where I want to put my closure here. Fold that in. Yep, that looks about even. Doesn't have to be perfect, but okay, now remember you're going through, this is 3D embossed, so I want to make sure that's good and stuck. And again, we're going to take one of those Velcro dots, which I'm not going to do right now at this moment. Oh, I already got those on. I'm not quite sure where I stuck those Velcro dots. It would be easier if I could do them now, but I set them aside and now I don't know where they're at. So let's just go on. Okay, so we've got that. Oh, this is going to overlap here, so I've got that hole. And so now you can see when I overlap that, I closed up my hole. So I'm going to take, before I do anything further, and open that back up. Okay? And then we will fold this down. This should line right up, right there. right there. Give that a press. I'm going to go on the inside of this one just to make sure that gets good and adhered, but I don't want to take out my embossing. So, okay, so now again, we can remove our backing. Fold in our sides, put in a little bit of glue. Oh, these ones I forgot to trim, you guys. Oops. Let's fix that. We forgot to trim the bottom. I had to trim that bottom down because it's 7/8 of an inch and I needed it to be 3/4, which is what I should have done on my trimmer. Okay, so I'm going to give these a quick trim just so that they'll fit. All right, now let's see if I got that. Yep, perfect. You just need to trim a sliver off. But you should do it before you put the box together, unlike me. Okay, we'll give that. Got this. Then we're going to take this piece and we're going to pop this up right after we put, we're going to put together our little, I know this is going a little long because we're going 3 boxes. Okay, so I've got, I only needed 2. Okay, good. I made 3, but I only need 2. I'm going to take the pieces from the candy corn, which is part of the trick or treat dies. Right here, you cut one of these, and one of these. So I've cut them in Daffodil Delight, Pumpkin Pie, and Basic White. And I'm going to add my tops. Like so. And then my bottom. To make my cute little candy corn. And I don't need that one for now. Okay. And then I took from Pick of the Patch. There is a little jack-o'-lantern face. If you have this, you can do this. If you have a face from another stamp set, use that. If you don't want to do it, then leave it off. But I'm going to take this jack-o'-lantern face. I'm just going to stamp that in the middle of my yellow. Let that sit for just a second. Okay. And now we have some cute little candy corns. I'm going to take one of these. I'm going to turn this around because that's where I scored it. And I don't want that to show. And you won't even notice it when I get done here. So I'll put that there. And then I'm going to pop up my other candy corn. And I'm going to put this just like so. More dimensionals. this like this. Okay. Give those a good press. Then I would put my handles in, and I would use that black and vanilla ribbon that I used before. I really need to find those dots. What did I do with those stinking things? Okay, to finish this box off then, I took the Boo from the Tricks and Treats dies, that same die set that makes the box, cut one out in black, and then I used Wink of Stella on it, and that will go on the front of our box, and it will look like this. This is a taller version, but it will be the shorter version, and those are the decorations. Okay? All right. That's all I have for you tonight. Just wanted to show you how to make that trick-or-treat box, Tricks and Treats box in all different sizes, and how easy it is to alter it. Okay, depending on what you want. Whether you want 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, or 1 1/8 inch, and then whether you want it to be tall or shorter, or you want to put that decorative edge on it. That's how it's done. All right. Let's bring those samples in here. And this is kind of, as you can see, I did all of these. Okay. And then we've got our Christmas version. And here's an even simpler Christmas version that I made. This just uses a piece of that Berry Christmas Designer Series paper, which is where I cut these characters from. This was the bottom corner, and I made it fit just perfect for that. So this is how you make boxes with that one die set for all occasions. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next Wednesday, or next Tuesday at 7. Good night.